Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. Hankk versus Boy. This game taking place here on a shallow grave. Hankk spawning as the blue orc player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Boy spawning as the yellow undead on the top left. Should be a great game I have for you. We'll see what comes across in this particular matchup. Are we going to be looking at standard play, high execution, or just some crazy randomness? Well, all packed into a game of WarCraft 3. Looks as though we're opening things up with an Altar of Storm barracks. Excuse me, and a burrow. Can't make any predictions on heroes as of yet, as we are looking at a crypt Altar of Darkness graveyard here. So an earlier graveyard than a normal means that we may be going for crypt fiends instead of ghouls straight out of the gate. A classic older style building with that graveyard first. We will have a delay on that hero, whether it be a Death Knight or some sort of tavern hero here, as the Ziggurat now getting, well, halfway to being done. And then, well, only reason why you can delay this Ziggurat is if you're also delaying this Altar of Darkness here. Alright, hero of choice, Farseer, is going to be out on the battlefield soon. We can see that there is a second Orc Burrow, but no War Mill as of yet, interestingly enough. So Hankk going for Farseer Grunt to open things up. Hi Leisure, how are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And for all you guys who made it to this point in the video, like, subscribe, all of that social media jazz that keeps me going. Anyways, we're looking at this Orc Burrow nearly done, Grunt nearly out, Altar of Storms, Farseer going to summon up some Spirit Wolves, and perhaps go after that Renegade Wizard. Could have a little bit of a bad time there. There's that Lightning Shield, and the Lightning Shield now really racking up damage across multiple units here. Alright, there's a Purge onto one of those Spirit Wolves. That's going to get taken out. Farseer should purposely back away now, still racking up damage against these two other additional creeps, and a very fast aggressive creep with the help of that Lightning Shield picking up Gloves of Haste. Meanwhile, we are still waiting for a Crypt Lord first by Boy. We can see that the graveyard is done. We are starting to train up those Crypt Fiends. One Crypt Fiend currently hiding in the back here, as we are looking at the Crypt Lord start summoning up these beetles for, well, that go wide army. Not quite sure why that Crypt Fiend is still hiding in the back here. We're looking at summoning up more beetles here, and you can see that this undead army, 4 beetles, 2 skeletal minions, and 2 crypt fiends should be able to clear out some relatively difficult creep camps. Alright, already placing it down here. There is that Blight, and here we are. Here we go. Farseer already sitting at level 2. He's going to be picking up Slippers of Agility, and based on the items and only the items, it feels like Gloves of Haste, Slippers of Agility may be better for, well, a Blade Master opening. Coming on through, we're looking at Giant Sea Turtle going to get cleaned up here. Meanwhile, back at that 9 o'clock position, this creep camp should get cleared out. Acolyte is already ready, perhaps should already be trying to summon up a Ziggurat. This Sasquatch will get taken down, and with that Sasquatch getting taken out, well, the Ziggurat should already be placed here. Not quite sure what the delay is. That Acolyte just pretty much hanging around here. 26/30 supply. Meanwhile, Farseer of Hankk has been able to, well, execute his game plan and strategy, trying to get to level 3 for those level 2 Spirit Wolves. It looks like he'll be able to get right on the money here, and level 2 Spirit Wolves with those critical strikes really eat into Crypt Fiends, especially when you don't have a Death Knight to try and heal them. Alright, coming back around to this Acolyte, if he wanted to hide, he should purposely should have been further back here. One Acolyte here by Hankk, it is going to end up being spotted very easily. That Acolyte really having nowhere to go. Meanwhile, the Crypt Lord going to be putting in pressure, and, well, with 3 Crypt Fiends, so many beetles, the Orc Burrows may actually get taken down very, very quickly. Alright, triple Crypt Fiends, Orc Burrow. Meanwhile, do we see any Nerubian Tower? No Nerubian Tower yet, not upgraded, as the tech to tier 2 is currently underway as well. well. Ghouls trying to fight its way through. One Orc Burrow already gone. Massive number of repairs underway as the peons are just able to constantly continue this fight here. No Impale. No Impale being used as of yet. Impale to try and stop some of these peasants or peons from repairing. That could be key here as we're looking at another Orc Burrow getting taken down. Scroll of Town Portal now being used here. Are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal try to escape away? Of course not, as the Crypt Lord doesn't have a Scroll of Town Portal, being forced to walk out the old-fashioned way. All right, going into a little bit of an engagement here. Beetles could easily get taken down. Farseer sitting at level 3. Hankk may transition into Shaman to try and deal with these beetles here instead. At 170 hit points each, even at level 3, those Shamans should be able to purge them down pretty quickly. We are going into a bestiary. We can see massive number of Orc Burrows now trying to be retrained up. 25 over 30 supply as, Edo Boy was not able to fully supply block his opponent. All right, 32 over 21. I'm sorry, got the positioning messed up. Yeah, completely supply blocking his opponent there. There goes one grunt. Crypt Fiend's now trying to back away. Scroll of Speed being used in order to try and catch up to these low hit point or damage taking Crypt Fiends. These Dire Wolves getting in some critical strikes really rack up pretty quickly as this one Crypt Fiend gets taken down here. All right, one more shot needed. Down to 26 hit points. It looks as though this Dire Wolf Spear may be able to catch up to this Crypt Fiend who's at 26 hit points. And, needs one more attack to do exactly that. Meanwhile, back here, we see a big Impale going down as well. There goes a Grunt. Both sides trying to exchange blows. Both sides taking big damage. Now, Hankk at 29 over 51 supply compared to Edo Boy's 25 over 30. All right. Nerubian Tower is up. This wolf just trying to get in a little bit of superficial damage. A slaughterhouse is under construction as both sides reset and try to get their footing again. Still no second hero coming across here. Crypt Lord will want to try and get up to level 3. Meanwhile, the Farseer sitting at level 3 here, going to try and clear out this Ogre Warrior Assassin Rock Golem creep camp off to the side. We should be looking at a Tauren Chieftain following things up, and we are getting a Tauren Totem over a Spirit Lodge for, Spirit Walkers instead of Shaman. Perhaps Spirit Link will be useful as well as the Farseer slowly but surely getting to level 4. Not quite there yet. Raiders are now out here on the battlefield as well. We're nearly 8 minutes into this game with no clear, victor as of yet. Both sides still trying to feel each other out. It feels as though, however, Hankk does have a slight advantage with nearing level 4. Coming back across those, the Crypt Lord currently sitting at level 3. Currently sitting at level 3. Those level 2 beetles should be a decent upgrade. Just need up to 300 hit points each as we're trying to take down this Rock Golem creep camp at this laboratory as well. All right, Rogue Wizard in the back just applying that Frost Armor and getting in a little bit of ranged attacks here. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain trying to get to level 2 and gonna be just shy, 2 experience shy, but does pick up some useful items as well. Death Knight now out on the battlefield, coming across, bringing in that Death Coil. Nice, strong, powerful burst heal as the Death Knight here, what item was dropped? Crypt Lord picking up a Wand of the Wind, also having that Talisman of Evasion and Ring of Protection. That Crypt Lord actually much beefier than it would normally be at level 3. Moving to this 3 o'clock position here, Farseer does get up to level 4, does train level 2 Chain Lightning. Tauren Chieftain gets level 2, gets Endurance Aura at level 2, does have Stomp to try and squash those bugs as this creep camp will be cleared up. Potential Creep Jack coming across here. Crypt Fiend's trying to test the waters. Farseer trying to make its way back over. What is going down here as the Death Knight tries to perhaps throw down some ensnares. Crypt Fiend's now turning back around as the Death Knight retreats here once more. All right, Crypt Lord sitting at level 3. Death Knight sitting at level 1 as we see a little bit of Jace getting underway. Scroll of Speed now being used, as well as the Raiders throw down one ensnare. There's a big stomp right in the center as a Spirit Link to try and heal up as well, or share some of that damage. Meanwhile, Obsidian Statue is trying to heal back up in the back as well. Big burst heal, and Tauren Chieftain really getting in 2 nice stomps early on in this battle here. Deathcoil to try and perhaps break free, but not going to be able to do so. Death Knight going to fall at level 1. Meanwhile, the Tauren Chieftain trying to finish off some of these Raiders, make it a little bit more expensive of an engagement, going back and forth here as the Obsidian Statues are still, well, in a play, trying to keep everything alive and well. Grunts exchanging blows. Both sides actually losing quite a bit of units. Kodo Beast could easily start chomping onto a Crypt Fiend as well, and yeah, that is going to be a hungry Kodo eating up a Crypt Fiend there. All right, we are looking at one Raider perhaps trying to stay in front of all of these units, get a little bit of separation as the Crypt Lord is in trouble once more. Pretty much completely surrounded, only his Beetle Infestation and Obsidian Statue fighting alongside him. Death Knight could be resurrected quickly back out on the battlefield here, able to get in some nice burst heals as the Tauren Chieftain still low on mana, still trying to close in on that distance. Obsidian Statue getting ensnared here, but looks like there is going to be enough protection and by home field advantage to keep those dire wolves off. All right, Kodo Beast still slowly digesting. It looks like the Tauren Chieftain needs to regroup with the Farseer and the rest of this army to apply that movement speed buff with that endurance aura. Hankk taking a nice supply lead, 48 supply compared to 38, while still being in low upkeep. Level 4, level 1 going up against a level 4, nearly level 3 Tauren Chieftain. Hankk's Tauren Chieftain, once he gets to level 3, that stomp, which has already been so powerful and effective, is just going to increase that radius even further. And if Edo Boy does not have an answer for this Tauren Chieftain, well, those Crypt Fiends are just going to get absolutely stomped on. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Forest Troll Warlord about to get taken down. Death Knight should get to level 2 here in just a moment. Perhaps faster movement speeds, exactly what the Doctor ordered, as Scroll of the Beast now picked up by that Crypt Lord for a bit of additional damage bonus. All right, Death Knight with Unholy Aura, Lich with that Orb of Corruption, and, well, the question is going to be what the Crypt Lord can do. Impale, Death Coil, Frost Nova could be extremely effective. We are looking at a tiny Great Hall being placed down here. Peons actually walking back. They need to stay close to this Great Hall in order to continue their mining. All right, Forest Troll Berserkers all getting taken down here, and the last Forest Troll Berserker will end up falling, as Hankk does have this hidden expansion up on the bottom left because he is at Fortress. Reinforced defense is completed for those Orc burrows. I don't see any weapon upgrades at all, though. Well, need to look at the Raiders. No weapon upgrades at all here. Undead, also no weapon upgrades either. They've been spending so much gold trying to replace lost units that they haven't really been able to upgrade the attacks or defense of any upgrades. Yeah. All right. No easier way to say it than that. All right, Chain Lightning bouncing around here. Acolytes trying to hide in the back here. One Nerubian Tower, one Black Citadel trying to retrain up a couple of Acolytes that could be lost, as the walk back home seems absolutely far when it is being invaded. All right, going to try and take down some more units. One Grunt does get taken out. Are we going to see another Chain Lightning? There goes another Acolyte there. So down to 2 or 3 Acolytes with 2 more being trained. Edo Boy going to bounce back, but Hankk going to start taking the lead here with this additional base. 49 over 62 supply, going to start building up a nice cache of gold, and then perhaps burst into low upkeep as we see Wind Riders joining in on the battle as well. All right, this is going to be an interesting position as the Lich takes a shockwave there. 50 supply compared to 46 at Death Knight. If it can get to level 3 and the Lich, well, able to do Lich and Death Knight, if they're able to level up, we know how powerful Death Coil Frost Nova can be here as the Ogre Lord gets taken down, and Claws of Attack plus 12. If that is given to the Lich, as I expect it would be, that plus 17 damage, suddenly that Lich is dealing major damage across the board, and then 2 or 3 auto attacks later, the Death Knights, the nuking power of the undead heroes suddenly climbs exponentially. 61 supply now compared to 46. hankk breaking into low upkeep already as the Watchtower now trying to get constructed here. The majority of the creep camps have now been cleared up, but Undead does have the benefit of having a third hero. Getting that third hero means that you have more heroes to get to level 3, and having 3 heroes at level 3 is perhaps the same as having 2 heroes at level 4 in terms, or actually I think I'd rather have 3 heroes at level 3 than 2 heroes at level 4, just because of how powerful that those hero nukes can possibly be. Tauren Chieftain gets up to level 4 here. He does have a plethora of items though, making him really strong. Agility and intelligence up to 375 mana, the Pure Up of Vitality, and also now a Robe of Magi up to 465 mana for a frontline Tauren Chieftain. He's going to be able to continually stomp and, perhaps squash all of these bugs, and calling on Big Daddy to take care of all of these bugs and spiders. All right, in comes the engagement. There goes a major impale there. Raider is quickly getting taken down. There goes a stomp, but the stomp really not hitting that back line as much as it needed to. Tauren Chieftain now Wand of the Wind up in the air, finding a way to neutralize it as the Farseer trying to figure things out here. Wind Riders continuing the battle. There goes another big impale, another large duration stun, but that Tauren Chieftain's stomp just that much more powerful. 61 supply compared to 51. Units are retreating back. Tauren Chieftain wanted to throw down another stomp. Kodo Beast does end up chomping on a Crypt Fiend, and that full hit point Crypt Fiend is going to be a very, very big dinner for that Kodo Beast. All right, one Watchtower. It looks as though the Edo Boy is going to be able to, destroy hankk's Expo here. 61 supply compared to 52, as there's just too many low hit point units for hankk to stick around. Last thing you want to do is feed more experience to the undead army. Giving level 3 to the Lich would have been, the beginning of the end, especially, never mind, take it back. Level 3 already reached by that Lich. That is going to be a big deal indeed, as we see a Scroll of Town Portal. All right, was this not worth saving over commitment, or did he have a big plan? There is a giant stomp there. Are we going to see some big damage? Death Knight now trying to retreat back here. Wind Rider's trying to go after the Death Knight. Death Knight has a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, will be able to stay alive. There goes another stomp here. Death Knight perhaps could try to go for some other units. Both sides fighting their way through. 46 supply compared to 44. Who's going to come out on top as the Tauren Chieftain gets thrown in the air once more? Chain Lightning Death Knight falls at level 3. Raider going to end up getting taken down here, with Envenom Spears, perhaps a little bit of damage over time, it will end up working out well. There goes a Frost Nova trying to slow things up. The Crypt Fiend could easily get taken down. 1 or 2 more shots. There goes another Crypt Fiend there. 45 supply compared to 47, as the Wind Riders are still giving chase here. Now the Tauren Chieftain perhaps just actually stopped for no real reason, as we're still looking at more damage. Farseer needs a little bit more mana right there. Envenom Spears trying to rack up more damage over time, as the Crypt Lord is back here. Triple Obsidian statues, lot of damage. Glitch is going to be absolutely fine once more. All right, Tauren Chieftain, Farseer both sitting at level 5. Death Knight getting resurrected back at the Altar of Darkness, as hankk was able to hold on to his Expo. That perhaps going to be the big deal there. Headhunters, curiously enough, now joining in on the fight here. Not quite sure if that was an accident or not. No Berserker upgrade, even though we are at tier 3. And hankk's Wind Riders are currently very, very fragile with no armor upgrades whatsoever. Healing salves to go around here. 4 Wind Riders with those Envenom Spears, that ticking damage over time. Follow it up with a Shockwave or Chain Lightning or Stomp, and that damage should be able to pick off units, as we saw earlier with that Death Knight. All right. It's going to come down to whether or not the Tauren Chieftain's level 3 Stomp is going to be enough to overpower the level 2 Frost Nova and level 2 Death Coil of the Lich and Death Knight. Death Knight just finished getting resurrected here as we're looking at perhaps a move down south. About 3.5 minutes of mining left. Edelboy needs to find a way to punish his opponent, close it out, do something, as hankk doesn't need to force an engagement. He has the Expo. He knows that his opponent doesn't have the Expo and can play a little bit more conservatively here, as he is just going to continue to get a 7 gold a second advantage over his opponent in about 3 minutes. Edelboy is doing a bit of banking as well, doesn't want to go into upkeep, wants to build up as much as he can and perhaps go into upkeep a little bit later. But with that said, he's sitting at 50 over 60 supply. He'd have to summon up more ziggurats as well, get more infrastructure if he wants to have a mid-60s supply army. Wind Riders are now up to 2-0 upgrades with those Envenom Spears, and as you remember, Envenom Spears do stack if they are applied by different Wind Riders. On top of that, the Wind Riders are actually Spirit linked right now, so they're sharing that damage between Kodo Beast. Perhaps even some Grunts should join in on the action or throw in a Peon or two, as the Wind Riders' Glass Cannon effect, well, if they have twice the amount of hit points, does help out tremendously. Are we getting some scrolls of healing as well? Yes, the Farseer has 1 scroll of healing. Tauren Chieftain has 1 item spot open, and that may be what it comes down to. Crypt Fiends have web most likely, and we are going to be going into this engagement here. 70 supply over 60. Going into this fight here, web could be engaged here. Their scroll of speed, and now here we go, trying to finish off Death Knight. Already in big trouble, going to be forced to use the Potion of Invulnerability and the Potion of Healing quickly. Meanwhile, Wind Riders are actually getting focused down. Destroyers getting focused down as well, as the Tauren Chieftain should actually be going after those Crypt Fiends to try and get in some big stomps. Both sides suffering some big heavy losses here, as the Destroyer going to get taken down as well. 40-64 supply compared to 45. Both sides fighting their way through. Farseer gets up to level 6, has level 3 Chain Lightning perhaps. Death Knight gets up to level 4. Tauren Chieftain wants to stomp down some more units as well, perhaps finish off some Crypt Fiends, as Edelboy is now down to 29 over 60 supply compared to 60 over 82. Chain Lightning finding some more targets. hankk going to be in a little bit of trouble. Dust of Appearance to try and find any burrowed Crypt Fiends, as we are looking at Crypt Fiend after Crypt Fiend, perhaps going to end up getting taken down. There goes one more Crypt Fiend right there, and well, the Kodo Beast still chomping on something too. Tauren Chieftain trying to catch up to these targets here. Is going to be able to get enough, perhaps get an Orb of Lightning Purge. No Purge there. Death Coil comes across, and the heroes are now back. New Obsidian statues getting trained up. It looks as though one Beetle back at home trying to, well, disrupt the mining operations of this Great Hall. A great fight right there. Tauren Chieftain with Wind Riders and Spirit Link able to keep the Wind Riders alive long enough to make a big difference. Normally, it feels like those Wind Riders are just cleaned up so quickly, and that their glass cannons feeding experience to the undead heroes. Not this time in this particular situation, even with those Crypt Fiends getting in those burrows. The Tauren Chieftain's Stomp and now the Farseer's level 3 Chain Lightning could have enough of a 1-2 punch to cause problems. Alright, Scroll of Healing now once more being purchased. Are we getting in more Spirit Walkers as well? Yes, we are. There's another Spirit Walker right there. He needs a bit more mana before we go into this next fight. Tauren Chieftain, perhaps if he... well, there's another Clarity Potion used by the Tauren Chieftain again. Farseer could also use quite a bit of mana, summoning up those Shadow Wolves and using Chain Lightning aggressively. 38 supply compared to 56. The army sizes, however, are about the same. 41, well, not about the same. 41 to 35 right now. We could have seen some unsummoning of buildings for an all-in attempt, but instead we're looking at Edelboy trying to prolong this game a bit more. The expansion over here at the top right hand side of the map will start mining soon. Meanwhile, hankk is also doing long distance mining with that 3 o'clock spot. No shade to keep track of that Shadow Wolf as the Lich now making its way over. Are we going to see some damage perhaps get racked up onto some of those units? Just trying to poke apart those obsidian statues. Just getting one shade, one way to reveal these units would be a big deal here, as we're looking at I believe that was a Devour Magic there. All right, Orc Burrow, reinforced defenses. Watchtower, reinforced defenses as well. We're looking top right-hand side, still no mining out of that gold mine. That is a very big difference in gold right now, about 6,000 and growing. As a peon is now going to go ahead and scout out that top right-hand spot too. All right, Windrider needs to back away. However, Undead with Frost Nova and Unholy Aura able to catch up to that Windrider pretty quickly, trying to get away. He's actually sticking around in a fight that he has no reason really to be there, as he gets bursted down once more. All right, there's some Devour Magic. We're going to see that Destroyer taking quite a bit of damage over time, down to 465 and still dropping steadily. Those Envenom Spears, as I said, do stack, and that is the effect of that right there. All right, Obsidian Statue, perhaps another round of volleys could finish off one. There goes one Obsidian Statue. There goes two webs, as the Wind Riders are quickly going to get finished off. Spirit Link to try and save there, as more Envenom Spears going down onto those Crypt Lords. Units trying to retreat back off to the north here. Death Knight taking a little bit of damage over or Crypt Fiends actually taking the damage over time. It is the Crypt Fiends that are the problem. If the Crypt Fiends are gone, suddenly the Wind Riders are pretty much going to be more unchallenged, because the Lich is not going to be able to have enough gas to just try and constantly burst down those units. 36 supply compared to 60. This is just poking to death, as another Crypt Fiend going to bite to the dust there. All right, perhaps go after a Destroyer, or go after some other units. There's a Giant Stomp here. One more Wind Rider getting taken down. Spirit Link, level 6 now on the Tauren Chieftain. Level 6 Tauren Chieftain having that reincarnation. He's not going to get knocked down easily as the Lich gets taken out. There goes an Impale onto the Farseer. Farseer, Scroll of Town Portal, Chain Lightning bouncing around, and there is the GG. hankk, or Edo Boy, throwing in the GG. hankk with the victory right there. Ultimately, in the end, the amount of gold being mined by hankk, even though he lost more to upkeep, gave him a larger army, plenty of items, and curiously enough, able to win with Wind Riders, being able to keep those units alive. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.